You gave up a TV. You gave up a TV job to start a podcast in your basement. If that doesn't scream midlife crisis, I don't know what does.
It was Championship Sunday here in Indianapolis. What's the mindset then coming in as a defending champion?
I want to win. No, I want to win.
The young lady over my shoulder, Caitlin Clark.
Not the best looking guy. And I don't think anyone's going to sit here and say, Matt Randazzo was really good looking.
What has this last month, 2 months, 3 months been like for you? It's an important fan base for the Fighting Illini, is it not?
It is.
He turned 69 years young last week. He looked good, Coach.
Oh, try it. Thank you.
Welcome to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Monday in the Quad Cities. Monday, November 17th. Happy Monday. Hopefully you guys are ready for the work week, all of those kind of things after a crazy, busy, fun weekend of sports, not just here in the Quad Cities, not just here in our area and our region, but around the entire country as well. So much to get to here on a Monday. So thank you guys for spending some of your Monday with us. We just had the open and we saw Andy Say. Starts out every single one of these shows, United Township basketball coach, with what he said at last year's Western Big Six Coaches Banquet, which was hilarious. Last night, I got a chance to MC this year's banquet. I don't know if we have anything that will work into the open, but we had a lot of fun at the Botanical Center last night. So we'll talk about much more about that in just a few minutes. If you're watching us live on YouTube, thank you for doing that. If you have subscribed, thank you. If you have not subscribed, please do so ASAP. We're getting close to 1,400 subscribers, working our way. We want to get to 1,500 by the holidays. Maybe the first of the year, Christmas, those kind of holidays, not Thanksgiving, but hey, that'd be great if it was Thanksgiving as well. So if you have not subscribed, do so. And also tell a friend or two or 10 about what we're doing each and every day. Off the Air with Matt Randazzo, 10 a.m. Live on YouTube, X, all of those kind of fun things as well. As I just mentioned, we are live on X. Make sure you're giving us your feedback, because we're waking up here on a Monday morning on November 17th with the Chicago Bears in first place by themselves in the NFC North. We're going to talk a lot about that coming up in the show, trying to get myself wrapped around that, if you will. Got a bunch of opinions. We'll talk about them here coming up a little bit on the show. So give us your feedback. Give us everything. Same thing on YouTube as well. Get on the chat. Chat with us as well. Questions for guests, all those kind of things. We appreciate it as well. If you do the podcasting form, we appreciate that as well. Go to any podcasting platform there is, Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Podbean, you name it. You put in Off Day with Matt Randazzo, you can listen to the show each and every day. And we know a lot of people, hundreds of people do that. Almost thousands of people do that every single day. So we appreciate that. If you want to do that, that's fantastic. You don't have to look at me. I always say that's a beautiful thing as well. But if you're out and about and doing it in the car or working out or whatever, take a listen to the show. We appreciate that as well. And also, welcome to our viewers in Central Iowa. We appreciate you each and every night at 7 p.m. on the WHO streaming app. You can check out Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. A lot for you guys today and this week once again as well. But there's something for everyone on the show. That's what I kind of like about what we get to do each and every day here on OTA. We do have a lot to get to coming up on today's show. It was a tough trip to California for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Kind of two different trips. The first half, amazing, sensational, awesome. Iowa looked great. Second half, USC looked fantastic. And it was Iowa falling 26-21. They've now lost 4 games this season, 2 straight for the first time in the regular season. The first time they've lost regular season back-to-back games since 2022. So a lot to talk to. It's Monday. That means Pat Angerer is here. He'll join us in a matter of moments to talk about his trip to California, Iowa football, and with Pat, everything else as well. Cool thing about Pat, we'll talk about it coming up here in a minute. Pat will be doing the color commentary for the 2A and 3A state championship games from the Unidome coming up on Friday. So Pat is taking over the media in the state of Iowa. He is a media mogul, if that's a thing. So we'll talk with Pat here in a matter of moments. Don't you dare go anywhere. Also, better news for the Iowa Hawkeyes or the University of Iowa. Their women's basketball team dominated both Drake and Northern Iowa. They beat Northern Iowa yesterday by like 33 points. Kyle Huesmann will be along to chat about the University of Iowa women's basketball program, also some soccer, some field hockey, all those kind of things as well. So Kyle Huesmann coming up later on in hour number 1 of the show. Iowa taking care of Drake and Northern Iowa, and so far everybody on their schedule. The schedule gets much more difficult. We'll look ahead for the Iowa women as well. So a lot to get to with Kyle Huesmann coming up in just a little bit as well. And then it's Marxy Monday. So my good friend John Marx will join me in hour number 2 to talk about everything. Now, full disclosure, if you couldn't already tell, I'm battling a cold, started getting it last week. I think everybody in our area seems to be battling a cold or something. My kids will never share their food with me or anything like that, but whenever they have a sickness these days, they always share it with their good old dad. So grinding through today's show. The beauty part is I have not lost my voice yet. I'm hoping I don't, because I got a lot to get to this week as well. So that is a good thing. And of course, I'm going to be utilizing the cough button a lot. So if you see me do this, I put it on too quick. That's me using the cough button so I can clear my throat a little bit. But a lot to get to on today's show. We mentioned at the start of the show, last night was the Western Big Six Coaches Banquet for the boys. I want to thank the Rock Island Milan Booster Club for having the event every year. It seemed like there were more people there this year, which is a good thing. We moved to a Sunday evening. All the coaches very nice to get through things quickly so I could get home and watch the Lions. We'll talk about them in a second as well. So I had a great time. Sean Taylor stole the show as usual. Moline head coach. Andy Stay was really good as well. Funny as well. All the coaches were good, but then you have the funny side of things. So if you missed it, if you weren't able to take advantage and get down there and check it out, they'll be re-airing it on MC22. I'll let you know when those dates are and when it's going to be on, so you guys can check it out. As high school basketball season is upon us. The girls start this week in Illinois, and then everybody gets going next week as well. So we go right from one sport to another, and we check out some basketball as well. So thank you to them for putting up with me as the MC. Once again, it was a bunch of fun last night as well. The Bears are in first place. These Chicago Bears are alone in first place in the NFC North on November 17th. I know that because 1, I watch football and I know what's going on, but 2, my phone has been blowing up nonstop with Bears fans letting me know that on November 17th, 2025, the Chicago Bears are alone atop of the NFC North. The Packers won yesterday, so they're like a half game back, I think is how that goes with the tie. And then the Lions lost to the Eagles last night in Philadelphia, so they are 1 game back in the NFC North. The Vikings losing once again, of course, to the Bears. The Bears figuring out a way to beat bad teams barely. And bottom line, they're 7-3. I get that. You can get on the chat and yell at me. I get all that. They're 7-3. A win is a win. You don't argue with victories, all those kind of things. But man, at some point, they figure out a way to win every single game that they probably should lose some of them, and they're playing bad football teams. So as a Lions fan, yeah, I do all respect, all credit to the Bears. They're 7-3. I don't know if they're the best team in that division. In fact, they're not the best team in the division. And we'll see how things go down the stretch. They catch another break, it looks like, next week. Mason Rudolph will probably be the starter for Aaron Rodgers. So they get a lifelong or a career-long backup quarterback coming to Soldier Field to play. So another great opportunity to go to 8-3 next week because they're playing another bad quarterback, which is what the Bears do a lot of. So, but they are 7-3. Ben Johnson doing a good job running the football, and they found a way once again to beat the Vikings after losing a lead late and being down 17-16. Good kick return. They get the field goal. Cairo Santos knocks it through after missing one early, and the Bears are 7-3 on the season. I'll say this. We'll talk more about it with Johnny Marks coming up in a little bit, but it seems like to me when the Bears have a good season, everything goes their way. And I go back to the Mitch rookie year, or not even rookie year, but the first year that he started. Matt Nagy was the coach of the year, and it just seems like everything goes their way. And that's what's going on right now for the Bears. And it's a league in which parity is is at the forefront. And so if you can get the breaks to go your way, you're going to win a lot of football games. And that's what the Bears have done. So our OTA poll question of the day, it's very simple. The Bears will win the NFC North. Yes or no? So go on to X right now. The poll question will be up here in about 2 minutes. And let me know. Bears will win the North. Yes or no? And then in the comments, explain to me why. I think the Lions are still the favorites to win the North. I think somebody told me that the Lions have an easy schedule coming up. They don't. They've had a brutal schedule. And boy, and we'll talk about it with John Marx coming up in a little bit. I love Dan Campbell. He's like my favorite human being in the world, but he had a bad night last night. The referees also had a bad night last night, but I'm not going to dwell on the one of the worst pass interference calls I've ever seen in my life, because the Lions did a lot of things to themselves yesterday to lose a football game, last night to lose a football game. But Dan Campbell going for it on fourth down a lot. That's what he does. We'll talk more about it later in the show, but at some point you have to read the room and realize what kind of football game it was. That was more of an Iowa Hawkeye football game than a Detroit Lions football game. What I mean by that game was going to be played in the teens, maybe 20, not in the 30s. And so you didn't need to score a touchdown every single time you had the football. Take points, do all those kind of things. Then late in the game, one more drive, you win the game. The Eagles, man, that defense is really, really good. That offense, I don't know. Like that, the Lions defense is good too. Packers defense was good the week before, so give them some credit. But it's crazy to sit here on November 17th and the Bears in first place in the NFC North. So let me know what you think about it. Hop on the on X, take the poll, and then also give us your feedback on YouTube as well. Other things that happened this weekend. Congratulations to all our local high school football teams. It wasn't the best weekend when it came to results, but all of them having a fantastic season. And in 4A, it was Geneseo taking Morris to the limit and losing 28-26. So congratulations to Geneseo. A fantastic season. I talked to somebody at church yesterday, and their grandson played on Geneseo's team. And I said, they're not done. Like, yes, they're done this year, but I think Geneseo football, not that it ever went anywhere, but is in a really good position over the next couple of years. And that's because of their head coach, Matt Furlong, doing an amazing job. So congratulations to Geneseo. Monmouth Roseville and Anawan and Weathersfield both lost as well, and Milledgeville. But congratulations to all of them making the quarterfinals. And in Milledgeville's case, making the semifinals in an 8-man. And congratulations to Wilton. They lost at the Unidome in the semifinals, but the Beavers back to state for the second straight season. Ryan Hetzler and those guys have a lot to be proud of when it comes to that as well. College football, we'll talk about Iowa here in literally 30 seconds with Pat Angerer. But it was Illinois getting back on track, beating Maryland 24-6, the final on that one. We'll talk with John Marx about just that coming up in just a few minutes. But we start on Mondays, like we always do, with a very familiar face. So it's a Monday tradition here on Off the Air with Matt Randazzo. Pat Angerer with the sunshine behind him. You look like an angel this morning with the backdrop and everything. How are you, my friend? How was California?
It was rainy and we lost. So yeah, the first half was a lot of fun. Like, it was the best trip ever. Yeah, no, it was a tough one. That one hurt. Yeah.
We'll talk football in a second. California in general. I know that you're an Iowan. I saw you. Did you tweet "I love Iowa" the other day?
Yeah.
Were you just happy to be home?
Yes. I just was so happy to be home and in Iowa. It's the greatest place. It's the greatest place ever. And I think you don't really appreciate it that much until you leave it, and then all you want to do is get back.
Yeah. Rain, luggage, besides football, not the best of times?
I got to see Joe Conklin. So that was good. Got to have a couple beers with Joe C. So that was good. And we had our sponsors there. We had dinner with them, and that was fun. And first half, dude, it was great. First half was awesome. It was a blast, and unfortunately couldn't hang on. But you'll have it. The good thing about this team is they'll fight, and the one good thing too is they're consistent. They're consistently up there, like they're battling, and I appreciate that with this group.
All right, let's look at the game itself. And you mentioned the first half is something, and I like watching the YouTube's thread or stream or whatever you call it, to watch. And you were pretty excited about that first drive, animated in the booth, if you will, which I love. But they came out throwing the football with the rain, with the atmosphere, all those kind of things. Were you surprised with the way Iowa came out throwing the football early on?
Yeah, it's funny, our whole breakdown that we did was it was all about the run game. Hey, it's going to be muddy and wet, and we're going to have to run the ball, and I thought we could run the ball against them. But yeah, we came out, and another thing. I mean, it's Tim Lester. It's like, all right, you think we're going to do this? Well, we're going to go do that, and they put together, great drives, 2 really, really great drives. Came out right away, really aggressive, took shots, spread the ball around. Was just a phenomenal, perfect start to the game.
You look at that, the way that drive ends is a 4th down pass that's caught. Now, there was an offside, so you probably had a fresh set of downs coming. But to make a statement like that early, it looked like it was Iowa on a fall afternoon with the rain. It looked like they came out and punched them in the face. And I'm sitting here thinking this is going to be a great day. Were you surprised with the start? I wasn't, because I felt like they were going to bounce back when it came to the disappointment that was Oregon a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, for sure. Not surprised with the start at all. I like this group. I thought they're extremely motivated. They're always prepared. They're always ready to go. And that's what makes this team so fun to watch. And it starts because you got a great leadership with Mark Randazzo, and he did a really good job and was steady and was making the throws needed to make, wasn't forcing anything, and was just really happy with how the game got going. And defensively, I thought we played really well too. To start, we shut them down on their first drive. I think they went 3 and out, and it was like, okay. And then they shanked the punt. It was like, all right, things are looking up. This is great.
Yeah, I had friends texting me like, hey, if we win out, is it playoffs? I mean, it was like that early on. They get up 21-7. It was 14-0 at one point. I got to talk to you about the Hawkeye special, not the Philadelphia special. And I don't like talking about Philadelphia in my house this morning after the nonsense that was last night in Sunday Night Football. But just to call a play like that, Kirk, I don't know if you caught Kirk on the sidelines afterwards. I think Chet Lystico tweeted it out, and I noticed it too. But it looked emotional. Kirk kind of popped up a second. Your thoughts on the Hawkeye special, if you will, that kind of play call, and then obviously Kirk pretty happy and emotional maybe after that play.
Yeah, I did take a peek at it because we were watching the replay on in the booth, and there was definitely some emotion there, and that was really, really cool to see. And it just, at that point, it seemed like this is going to be a magical day. This is going to be an absolutely magical day in Disneyland. And the Philly special, the Hawkeye special. Sorry, I keep calling it Philly special, even though they beat up on your Lions last night.
Take it easy.
By the way, that wasn't pass interference.
No, but play better. They got to play better earlier than they weren't playing well. But go ahead.
Anyway, no, great play, and just one of the things that Tim Lester does is he gets the ball in his best player's hands and finds a way. And Weegen's a really great decoy too. They were really keying on him. They weren't kicking to him on kickoffs. We had to do some adjustments there. Doing a little shot to Mark. It shows his versatility. The fact that the first half he had a rushing TD, passing TD, and reception TD is absolutely insane. I don't know if people have found the stats because we were trying to look it up. I think he might be the only quarterback in Iowa to ever do that, or the only player in Iowa history to ever do that.
Sounds good.
But he's got a lot of, winningest quarterback, only player to do this, only player to do that, which just shows how just amazing he is and how lucky we are to have him. And finding ways to get him the ball, finding ways to open it up. We're not just going to, inside zone, outside zone, inside zone, outside zone. We've got other weapons to use, and Tim does a good job using it, and the guys do a really good job executing on those.
Pat Angerer joining us right now on Off Day with Matt Randazzo. 21-7, things feeling good. Everybody's happy. 26-21, the final score. What happened? When people ask you, Pat, what happened between 21-7 and 26-21, what happened when it came to the second half of that football game?
Honestly, really what happened was I think there were some dudes in the stands that took their shirts off and they started waving them around. And that's kind of when the momentum changed. I don't know. The USC players got really excited. They see these dudes with their shirts off and they're like, we got to start playing better. That was kind of the turning point in the game, unfortunately, for us. I think it was a huge distraction for our guys because none of them were very tan. And it was, they came. The one thing with USC is they can score really fast. They have so much talent. They had that field goal at the end of the half, and then they came out and had a really long and quick first drive. They've got so many weapons. Mekhi Lemon is, and Coach Ferentz mentioned, he goes, he might be the best receiver that I've seen in my 20-some years, or one of the top. He's good. And their quarterback does a really good job of getting the ball to those guys. And really all he's got to do is just throw it up. They'll make plays. I thought offensively, we weren't really winning on first and second down like we were doing previously. Just weren't making the plays. And obviously there was probably some execution issues, I would assume. And I'm sure the players all said that. But given all that, we still had a chance. These boys still had a chance. And unfortunately, once again, we're just kind of unable to get over that hump. Felt bad. The problem is when you're playing these good teams that are really talented, you just can't give them anything. You can't do that. You've got to play 4 quarters. You've got to execute the whole game, and you've got to take advantage of any opportunities you have.
You look at it, Pat, and if you would have
sorry, I gotta grab the dog. I'm grabbing the dog. Bo wants to see you.
We'll talk amongst ourselves. We're good. And Bo was very popular last week.
Come here.
Hey, buddy.
Come here. Say hi to Matt.
Hey, buddy. What a cutie. What a good dog. What a good dog. See, now everybody's happy. Hey, if I told you it was 21, when we had 21 in the second quarter, if I said, hey, if we get to 28, you're going to win this football game, you would have probably put that fancy house you live in on it. Not that you could. That's, I think, the frustrating part. But like you just said, USC's got guys too. Like, they're really good, and they have weapons, they have talent. I'm not a blame the officials type of guy, although you'll hear throughout the show I'm not very happy with officials today. Do you buy into that? Do you see certain plays and like that wasn't good, that was pretty bad, turning points in this game?
Yeah, honestly, they're the blatant ones. There were 2 face masks that were really bad that they didn't call. It's like, how do you not call the face mask, man? Like, how do you not? Like, that's pretty blatant. And the pass interference, I want to say it was on Jalen Watson.
He just threw it up. Play. He just threw it up.
Well, he threw it up, but and I want to say, was it Mekhi Lemon? He literally just grabbed our guy and pulled him into him.
Yep.
It's like, no, you're creating the contact. And it's like, well, he didn't play the ball. Well, he couldn't because the guy grabbed him into him. He couldn't turn around. Just blatant stuff. And it's, you think about it, and I think a lot of it is you get these officials that never played. And I don't know. There's maybe they did, but it just seemed like these were some guys that never played ball. And then you go into the fact, not the fact, but you go into a little skepticism, like, well, hey, those blue bloods, right? They get, they like to get the calls. They're the big names. They're the ones that get all the good stuff. But still, here's the thing. As a fighter, you don't want to leave it up to the judges. We put ourselves in an opportunity to win that game, and we should have, and we let them back in it. And at the end of the day, that's our fault. With a team like that, super talented team, you keep pounding on them. These guys are a team very talented. I'm sure a lot of them just athletically probably haven't overcome a lot of adversity. They've probably always been the front runners, always done really well. I don't know. I'm just saying that, when you've got these 5-star, 4-star guys, always guys that haven't had a lot of adversity and very tough and talented and all that. But you don't want to give them any hope, because once you give them hope, they start really playing. And unfortunately, we did give them some hope, and it didn't work out for us.
Can we go back real quick to the guys without their shirts, twirling their shirts? Where did they come from?
I don't know. It was weird too. You know, one of the things like when you go out and play like UCLA or USC, obviously you go out there. There's just the crowd, the atmosphere. Like it's not even close to Iowa City. Like not even close. There's really nobody there, and you know there was so many open seats that these guys went over to this open section, huge open section.
Can you imagine an open section at Kinnick Stadium?
Right.
I mean, not just a couple seats, but a section.
It was open from row 1 all the way to the top.
Yeah.
You know, and they, you know, and they came over and everybody started joining them. And I guess props to them. They looked like they were having a good time in some bad weather. So, yeah, it worked out. It worked out for the Trojans.
I had a kid come home that was, I think it was probably Charlie, and he's like chuckling. He's like, Pat said that something referenced the 3 people in the stands getting ready to watch the game. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of, I mean, because you looked at Kinnick the week before and 70,000 people still showed up for the rain, and a colder rain than that, I'm assuming. So hats off to the Iowa fans from 2 weeks ago. One of the the face mask, the very next play, Pat, there's an interception. Like the very next, and like, and this is the way I feel on a Monday where my teams didn't play very well this weekend. You nailed it. Like there's so many things that they did. I talked to our good friend Scott Wheezy, and he's like, don't talk about the referees because, you know, we squandered just score 28 points and you win the game. So I get that. I understand that side of it, but it's tough when the very next play something really, really game-changing happens and Iowa doesn't get the benefit of the doubt. Let's go through that last drive. I thought Iowa did a good job keeping – was his toe in bounds or not?
Honestly, I thought so in the booth. I thought so just from watching the replay. I thought like the base of his foot, I would say. I don't know how to explain a foot, but I thought the base of his foot was in and then his toes went out. I thought his foot hit. And first of all, I don't know how he even made that close. I don't know how I thought for sure he was out. When you watched it live, it was like, there's no way. And then I saw the review and I was like, oh gosh, he's in, he's in. And then unfortunately, you know, they didn't give it to us. So yeah. And once again, had opportunities, just didn't work out for us. And it's, you know, it's funny, like the interception, right? Hit off, was Jacob Gill's knee where it hit off of? Yeah. Or was it?
Yep.
Yeah. Hit off Jacob Gill's knee and pops up in the air right to their D lineman. And I'm sitting on the bus on the way home. So we landed and get on the bus, head to the parking lot. And I'm sitting next to Phil Parker. And I'm just like, the interception, all this stuff. I'm like, we just haven't had, something bounce our way yet. All these games, like nothing has bounced our way. And I'm like, in 2009, all those things bounced our way. Hell, we blocked 2 field goals. That never happens. And he goes, well, I think it's just a test. I think it's a test. And I think it's a learning experience. And it's just, he's looking at this as, some people look at things as like blessing and curses, right? And he's looking at things as challenges and opportunities. And he's looking at a way like, hey, this is going to make us grow. This is going to make us better. And I'm sitting here complaining like, this is not fair. Yeah. This is this and that. His mindset is, all right, well, we're being challenged and we're being tested and let's see how we respond. And that's why, that's why this team always comes back. That's why they always stay together. They're always going to fight. They're always going to be ready to go. And that's why you're proud of them, because they have the right mindset and they have the right leaders pushing them in the right direction.
So, Pat, last week we talked about 3 games, 10 points, how close it was. And now we can continue that. 4 games,
I hate that.
15 points. Okay, that's what I want to talk about, because we can't eventually just sit there and go like, we can't just keep adding games and points because you're adding losses. Your thoughts on that? Because end of the day, yes, they've lost to 4 good teams, 2 great teams, probably USC you could put in there as maybe a great team as well. But the bottom line is they didn't win. Your thoughts on it's 4 games by 15 points and those kind of things?
Yeah, that's participation trophy stuff, right? That's participation trophy stuff. I just don't like it. we lost. At the end of the day, we lost, and you can do that. With it, you can make up whatever stat you want and all that stuff to make things look good. But at the end of the day, we lost, and we've got to find a way to win those games. And I trust the fact that we've got the right guys in the building and the right coaches leading them. That we're going to figure that out. And it's, at the end of the day, you got to execute and you got to make plays. You got to play the whole game. And games come down to at the end of the day, they come down to 4 or 5 plays really. We've got to find a way to figure those things out. But like I said again, we got the guys to do it. I feel terrible for them because I really think this is a great group. Really good leaders, really good men. You talk to them; they're way more mature than we were in college. Extremely more mature, very well thought out. I mean, it seems like every kid on the team's like academic All-American or academic All-Big Ten. They're just a solid group of kids that work hard and do what the coaches tell them. And I'm hoping for their sake. I hope that they can finish undefeated. And I really think that they're gonna do that, and they're gonna finish this season on a high note. It's very similar to me, like that 2008 team. There was the same talk. Oh, we lost all these 4 games by whatever 2 points, whatever the hell it is. I don't know. That doesn't add up. But and I at that time I did that wasn't something that I wanted to like talk about or be proud of or hang on. We lost those games and we should have won them. And, kind of hopefully it lights a fire in them, and hey, they'll learn from it and they'll improve. I'm not a fan of that either. I think it's just something that fans talk about. And obviously you media guys like to bring it up all the time, but at the end of the day, we lost those games and we got to play better.
A few more for Pat Angerer before he goes off and tackles the work week. That is, I get it that I don't want to be an Iowa apologist, and I think a lot of things you said make sense, and you've been fair about a lot of stuff. But it is amazing that I have the same guys that were excited about the playoffs and loving life and everything not even 9 days ago, texting me at the end of the game still that it's time, and we need to turn the page and all these kind of things. And I know you see it, you hear it, all those kind of things. Am I being an apologist, or am I, or should I listen to that kind of stuff and kind of jump off the deep end every time Iowa loses a football game?
I mean, at the end of the day, the people that are talking like that are losers. They're just losers. It's funny. Like, would that be something like, let's say your kid's going through a tough challenge or something in sports? Are you going to just say, hey, just quit, right? Like, is that what they're teaching their kids? It's just a terrible mentality. At the end of the day, people that talk like that are losers. And I got people on my feeds and stuff talking like that. It's really hard. It's like, dude, I knew you in high school. Like you didn't do anything. You literally quit basketball. Like, what are you talking about? You transferred schools. Like,
you can say their name. Go ahead. No, I'm just kidding.
And it's just like, I know you guys. Like, what? You don't know anything. Like, what? I don't know. And
Hey, and I get the fact. I'll say this too. I get the fact of the frustrations. And here's the thing about Iowa football. We know it. Iowa football plays a brand of football that allows them to be in every game, make it a dogfight, upset teams, or lose to Oregon by 2, be in those games while other teams are getting blown out. But it also puts yourself in a position where you don't blow too many teams out. So you're playing a lot of close games. That's Iowa football. It's a dogfight. You're in it. And a lot of years you're winning those games. And then there's certain years like this that you just come up on the wrong side of too many of them. But that's the brand of football, isn't it? It's muddy it up, be a dogfight, play good fundamental football, and then in the end, make the plays to win the football game. And unfortunately, other really good teams have made the plays to win the football game. I don't think Iowa hasn't. Maybe USC is the first game that Iowa hasn't made the play late. Having an opportunity, now mind you, it was by an inch. It looks like they almost made the play. Some people have pictures that think they made the play, but that's beyond the point. But you look at
even if he catches it, we still got to score a touchdown.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, I get it. I get the frustration. I'm not sitting here saying everything is perfect and sunshine and all that kind of stuff, but just don't get so, I had somebody on the post show that Tommy and I did that was, messaging like they're not going to win another game all year. And I'm like, well, 0-7 Michigan State's coming to town next week. Just relax a little bit, pump the brakes. I think everything's gonna be okay. Let's talk about the Spartans because they are coming to Kinnick Stadium. I liked Iowa before everything that's happened, but I don't think Sparty wants to come to Kinnick Stadium with a team that's frustrated after 2 straight really close losses against ranked foes. I think they play really well. What do we know about Michigan State? I know you haven't delved into it too much, but I know Iowa, and I think they play really well on Saturday.
Yeah, I don't know. I have not watched Michigan State. I have not watched one snap of Michigan State this year. But like you said, I do know Iowa, and I'm looking forward to watching the guys come out there and basically and just aggressive, run the ball all over them, put up a bunch of points, play tough defense in front of an amazing crowd. I'm looking forward to getting back in Kinnick, and yeah, I'm excited about it. And Michigan State really since they had to get rid of all their wins from like 2022, they've won one game since 2022. So last year's game doesn't count, but I think our guys are going to be a little bit more obviously upset and motivated based on what happened last year when we went up there. So hopefully there's even added motivation to the game on Saturday.
It is senior night or senior day. It's a 2:30 kick, by the way, at Kinnick Stadium. Do you remember your senior day and how special is it for a lot of those guys? I mean, you got Aaron Graves who's been there for like 3 decades, it feels like, but I think 6 years. What's senior day like? And honestly, especially up front in those trenches, there's a lot of guys, Logan Jones and Aaron Graves and those guys that have been there forever. What's senior day like for anybody, but more or less for these guys coming up?
I think one of the things with Aaron Graves, he graduated in 3 years. That dude's a genius, absolute genius. I remember senior day. I remember Coach Norm Parker saying, "You win your last game in Kinnick. You have to win your last game in Kinnick because otherwise you're going to regret it the rest of your life." So we went out there and we shut out Minnesota, and that was great. That was just that was awesome. And obviously having your family down there. In the stadium, inside Kinnick was cool, and having them be able to like, hey, hear and feel how great it is being on the field. And this senior class is, they've been through a lot of ups and downs, a lot of roller coasters. They've done a really great job being leaders this year. If our senior leadership wasn't as good as it was, we would have, there's been times I'm sure they would have crumbled, but they stayed motivated. They stayed in the fight. I'm extremely proud of this senior group. I think they are. They're just what us guys that used to play for Iowa are proud of. So, looking forward to them going out on a high note and kicking the crap out of old Sparty.
And then it's Nebraska, and then it's a bowl game. Plenty of football left to be played. Before I let you go, you mentioned the media kind of throwing a barb at me. You literally are the media. Later this week, tell everybody what you're doing. If you got a team playing for state, a championship game up at the Unidome, 2A and 3A state championship games. If you can't make it up to the Unidome, Pat Angerer will be on the call. That's pretty cool. You are everywhere. You are the definition of Iowa media right now. Congrats, man.
I'm not media, but I tell you what, I'm tired. I'm pretty tired right now. And I can't imagine how tired Dolph is. There's going to be a stretch where Dolph is going to be gone for 10 days, on the road for 10 days. So no, I'm really excited to do the 2A and the 3A games. And it'll be TV. My wife's like, what are you going to, so last night we're interviewing some of the coaches and just kind of getting their stories and about the kids. And last night she was like, so you're doing the radio? I'm like, no, I'm doing TV. She goes, you're doing the TV? So yeah, first time on TV. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, it'll be tough not having Gary carry me the whole game, but got Sean Kenny will be the play-by-play. And just looking forward to because I played in a state championship my sophomore year, won a state championship my senior year. So many great memories in there, and just excited to be able there to tell these kids stories and just watch them compete because it's a huge deal. Iowa State football championships, it's the top, it's the best of the best, and obviously nervous and terrified like I always am every time I go on a broadcast, but just looking forward to being a part of it and being up there again.
I love it because it is TV, but you're going to be on like 3 times. It's not like you're on a lot, all that kind
Thank
of
you.
stuff. Just
Thank you
suck
so
it
much.
in when you are and like chest out one of those,
Yeah.
kind of flex it a little bit and you'll be good to go. It'll be great. Then you can watch this. It's just all over the state, whatever. I'm assuming whatever affiliates around the state pick up the state championship games. It's different all the time, but
Yeah, PBS
There you go.
is doing it, and I think obviously too. I think it might be on the YouTube stream as well. But yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun to be back in there and just watching. Just kind of, I was watching actually Kemper Catholic. I was watching their game on the way home from USC, and they play a pretty fun brand of football. Haven't dove into a lot of the games yet, but currently right now watching the semifinal games and just having a really good time watching. It's interesting. Like, you forget, like, these guys play both ways.
Yeah.
Like, these dudes are tough, and they're fighting, they're scrapping. There was a running back from Nevada that I want to say he had like 36 carries, 230 yards, and also played defense as well too. Like, dudes, these guys are tough. And talking to one of the coaches as well too. I want to say, kid from Nevada, and now I can't think of his name because I wrote it down, but this is his first year since freshman year playing football, because he basically joined the rodeo his previous years and was like riding rodeo stuff. And he's just tougher than nails. And he was saying he did miss 1 week of football this year because he was up in Colorado hunting black bear. It's just like these kids. And I go, he's my favorite player.
Yes.
He's my favorite player of all time. So it's like I'm just excited to see. And I guess, with everything that's going on in college and everything that's going on in the NFL and all this stuff, like, this is football at its purest.
Yeah.
This is the purest form of football that we get. And for a lot of these guys, it's the last time they're going to play football. So I'm looking forward to watching them compete.
It's going to be outstanding. You'll do a great job. And then you get to, so it's Friday, 2 games, and then you're just going right to Iowa City and do another. You're a machine, Pat Angerer. And you're right about Dolph. Like, right now, what Dolph does and his schedule, and I should mention, because I have to, I'm contractually obligated, Corey Sheets as well is a machine.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys are doing it basketball-wise and football-wise and doing it at a high level. Although, was Corey a little frazzled on Saturday morning?
Yeah, I think there were some technical difficulties, but the hard part is between me, Robbie, and Dolph. We don't know anything technologically wise. So Corey's on his own, setting everything up, and he got it figured out, luckily. And I don't know how he does what he does. The guy is amazing. You can do a broadcast without me. You can't do it without Corey.
Yeah. No, 100%. He is the best. That's why he's the 17-time Employee of the Week or something like that.
Oh yeah, I tell you what, the last Employee of the Week will be coming up in Michigan State this weekend. It will be interesting to see
who is this week.
We usually do not do it for away games.
Why? You're taking away opportunities.
I just want to make sure everybody's there, so when I give the presentation, it means more.
It was, and the last winner, we don't need to get into it. What an emotional winner that was. I mean, well deserved, warranted, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was a long time coming for Joe Conklin, and just extremely impressed with his perseverance and everything that he's overcome, and just how he carries himself from day-to-day basis.
What does he overcome? Like being handsome, like having perfect hair. Like what?
Think about this. He's the quarterback for Assumption. He was a quarterback for Assumption, so he's constantly getting his ass kicked by me his whole life, and constantly anybody at Assumption, you're just constantly losing to Bettendorf and everything. So for him to be able to learn from that and improve, be able to get himself to Iowa, and then essentially get into a position where he's running not only the University of Iowa but running the whole state of Iowa is super impressive.
I think we have to leave it at that. Have your good day at work, buddy. I'll catch up with you again real soon. I always appreciate you spending your Monday morning with me. Thanks, pal.
Love you. See you, buddy.
All right. That is Pat Angerer with a a touching tribute to Joe Conklin, which I think is the way everyone should end their Monday mornings, or start their Monday mornings before they get ready for the work week. We got a lot more to get to on the show. Again, as I mentioned, I'm dealing with the cold. I think the beauty thing is it's not going to be pneumonia, and I think I'm going to keep my voice. So that's the beautiful thing. And I'm cranky because my Lions lost. The Bears are in first place. Iowa lost out in California. I don't like referees right now. We got a lot to get to. We'll unpack it throughout the morning. Again, if you're watching on the YouTube channel, jump on into the chat and chat with me. Make me feel better, make me feel worse, all those kind of things. No one feels sorry for me. I guarantee you that. That's for sure. Yesterday, I should say, the Iowa women with another impressive victory over Northern Iowa. They hammered Drake earlier in the week as well. And now the schedule gets much more tougher. We're going to talk with Kyle Huesmann about, the success against the in-state teams and then what's to come for Iowa women's basketball. That's next. John Marx later in the show. We got a lot to get to. Thanks for joining us on a Monday right here on OTA. All right, be honest. Are you craving Hungry Hobo again? That fresh sliced meat piled high on those amazing sandwiches, hot off the grill chicken and steak with all those delicious toppings, the biggest and best selection of baked potatoes, or simply some waffle fries dipped in cheese. Well, now that Quad City favorite is even easier to get. Download the Hungry Hobo app today. Order ahead, skip the line, and earn rewards all at the same time. There's Double Points Monday and exclusive specials as well. With 12 locations in the Quad City area, it's Hungry Hobo. Now even easier to find, but still hard to resist.
Rafferty Funeral Home, dedicated to serving families in the Quad Cities since 2007.
Hi, welcome. Here, come on in.
An experienced staff plans each service to reflect the unique life and legacy of your loved one. Rafferty Funeral Home is proud to serve our community with dignity, respect, and compassion, helping you to celebrate your traditions and lasting memories no matter your faith, culture, or budget. Rafferty Funeral Home in Moline. Call today to discuss prearrangements.
When it comes to quality, convenient pizza, Godfather's Pizza in Silvis has you covered. Featuring a beautiful dine-in area, delivery, and a carry-out window. Godfather's Pizza is that pizza you grew up with, not a convenience store. You see, at Godfather's Pizza, the dough is made fresh daily. That mozzarella cheese is shredded fresh and never frozen. And those toppings are abundantly piled high each and every time. Locally owned and operated since 2010, Godfather's is a huge supporter of local athletes right here in the Quad Cities. So come on by and check them out at 1211 Avenue of the Cities in Silvis. Order online at godfathers.com and reunite with that same delicious pizza you grew up with. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Monday in the Quad Cities. Monday, November 17th. Just wrapped up with Pat Angerer. If you missed it, go check it out. Pat always has something interesting to say. And reminder, he will be on the call for the 2A and 3A state championship games on PBS around the state of Iowa coming up on Friday. So 2 games for him on Friday. And then, of course, Iowa and Michigan State. That's a 2:30 kick. At Kinnick Stadium, Senior Day. We will start things off on the Hawkeye Radio Network with the Hawkeye Tailgate Show at 12:30 from Krause Family Plaza. If you missed last week's Hawkeye Tailgate Show, go check it out. We had Cooper Koch on, which was a bunch of fun. But my favorite part of the show was chatting with the legendary John Campbell from KCRG for a couple different segments. So great chat with him. We talked about his favorite Hawkeye players, favorite games, most personable or best personalities, I think is the best way to put it when it comes to players that he's covered. So go check that out right now on the Hawkeye Radio Network YouTube page. It was a bunch of fun. Also right now, head to Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, our poll question of the day. Will the Bears win the NFC North? They are in first place by themselves on November 17th. Will the Bears win the NFC North? Yes, no, weigh in, let me know, all of those good things as well. It was a good weekend for the Iowa women's basketball team. Good week. Last week we talked with Kyle Huesmann and we knew we had Drake coming up. And then on Sunday or yesterday we had Northern Iowa. And I remember him saying, don't just go there and win by 8 to 10 points. Go there and win by 20 points. They won by 42 and then I think they won by 33. So we're joined now by Kyle Huesmann. Kyle, that passes the test, right? They did well, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I think they passed kind of what we were talking about last week with, Drake was a team that was rebuilding. We talked about some of the players that Drake lost with, Katie Dennebier and Anna Miller and Courtney Becker and how they were going to be rebuilding. And then UNI the same way. They lose Maya McDermott, who was a great scorer for them. Two in-state schools that have been good programs over the years, but just kind of in that rebuilding phase, especially early in the season. And Iowa in their own right is kind of rebuilding and kind of trying to figure out some things as well. But it was two games that I felt like if Iowa went in and played their best basketball, or at least near their best basketball, they'd be able to go win by 20 plus points. And looking at the box score here for the Drake game, I was surprised that it was a 42-point win. I think that's a Drake team that as the season goes along, by the time they're in Missouri Valley play, they're gonna be a pretty decent team in the Missouri Valley. Don't know if they're gonna win it because there's a couple of really good teams in there, but a team that you look at that box score and there's not a lot of names that you remember from the last couple of years in terms of the ones that were playing a lot of minutes. So tough spot for them to be in, but I thought Iowa handled that game really well. Had 6 players in double figures, which was the second consecutive game that they had done that, did it in the Evansville game as well. So that was pretty impressive. And then the game here yesterday up at UNI in Cedar Falls, I was up there and, Iowa wins by 33, 74-41. But I don't think they were super happy with how they played. Especially early in the game. UNI's game plan, they came in and it was very obvious from the start that their game plan was to try to really slow the game down, take a long time in their possessions, and that sometimes that meant 20, 25 seconds off the shot clock, and really try to make it a low scoring game. And Tanya Warren, the head coach for UNI, said that after the game. She said that was the game plan. Let's see if we can have some longer possessions, really stretch out our possession so Iowa can't get out in transition. Iowa can't have more possessions because obviously I was averaging like 100 points a game going in. And I thought UNI stuck to that for the majority of the game. They really tried to slow their game down as much as they could, but eventually Iowa got going. But yeah, that first quarter, I think Iowa went over 5 minutes without a field goal. They got a couple of free throws. It was only 15-8 after the first quarter. I thought UNI really, they probably would have liked to score more than 8, but I thought they won the first quarter in terms of getting it to be played the way that they wanted it to be played. And Iowa never really looked great, in my opinion, but they really got it going in the second and third quarter, scored 45 points between those two quarters, and that was really it. I mean, they led 60-26 after the third quarter, but a game where they felt like there were some inconsistencies. The front court, which had been really good through the start of the season, Hannah Stolke, 4 points. She did have 7 rebounds. Ava Hayden had 8 points, 6 rebounds, but had a couple of fouls early in the game and ended up only playing 22 minutes. They got her in a little bit more in the second half, but early in the game had some foul trouble. And then Layla Hayes was really good again, 14.7 rebounds. Had played about 20 minutes. I thought Layla Hayes was the standout. I know Jan wasn't really thrilled with what she saw from Hannah Stolke and Ava Hayden, just kind of an inconsistent performance from them. But then Chit Chat Wright was phenomenal. 7 of 8 from the floor, 3 of 3 from 3, had 19 points. Did have 4 turnovers, which she mentioned is something she wanted to clean up. But Jan was really happy that when the offense was kind of sluggish, a little slow to start, and then in the second half when it was getting a little bit better, but they still weren't really clicking on all cylinders. She was really happy with Chit Chat in certain situations, kind of just going for it and getting a shot for herself because she was one that was hitting her shots. I mean, like I said, 7 of 8 from the floor. So she was really happy that in certain situations, Chit Chat was the one to take the shot and realize, hey, it's not our best day offensively. I'm feeling pretty good about my shot. I'm going to get a few shots up here and I'm going to make a couple shots and help us out. But overall, I mean, they did their job. They won by 33. The defense was really solid. I missed some shots, but I thought Iowa was really solid defensively. Held UNI to 22% shooting and 41 points. So again, a 33-point win, you're really nitpicking stuff, but I don't think the coaching staff was really impressed by what they saw. But they did more than enough to get the win.
Kyle Huesmann joining us right now and Off There with Matt Randazzo. Kyle, I want to look at 3-4 games, the things you like, the things you don't like. And obviously there's probably a lot to like, so I don't want to talk about all of them. But is there one thing in the first 4 games that stands out to you the most and what you like? You mentioned Chit Chat, and I knew I knew she was going to be good. I didn't know how much she was going to score, but I knew she was a good point guard. She's just stood out to me. When you look at it, she was almost a point a minute yesterday, and it's not the fact that she's scoring as well, but she's so efficient in how I think she missed a shot all night. I think she was 7 of 8, 3 for 3, 2 free throws. Her to me stands out. What's the story? Is it her? Is it Layla Hayes? Who stands out the most to you when it comes to the first 4 games of the season for the Iowa Hawkeyes?
Yeah, I think in terms of individuals, Chit Chat's the one that stands out. And like you said, we knew that she was going to be a pretty good point guard just with what she was able to do at Georgia Tech. We just weren't quite sure what role she would take in terms of scoring because she didn't take a ton of shots at Georgia Tech. Was like 6th or 7th on the team in shot attempts. And obviously, as Jan said, just very pass first. So it's kind of one of those, like, you looked at some of her stats, her 3-point shooting, and you watched some of her film, and you're like, the scoring ability is there. We just didn't know, is that the role that they need her to take? Do they need her to be a 15-point-a-night scorer? Can they get her to be okay with being a 15-a-night scorer? And I don't think she's going to average 15 points per game for the season, but it was just that question of, could they get her to flip that switch, and did they need her to do that? And I think what she's, even from the exhibition game to now, you've seen growth from her being comfortable rather than, kick out to her for a 3 instead of driving in and trying to kick to somebody else for a 3. She's just taking that 3 and making it. And that's the thing that I've really liked from her through these first, 4 and now 5 games, if you include the exhibition game, is that you look at 7 of 8 from the floor against UNI, and you look at some of the other games, what she's done, it was 5-11 against Drake, 4 of 9 from 3. There's not many, if any, so far through these first 5 games. Have there been shots where I said, Chit Chat forced that one? She didn't really need to take that shot. A lot of it's open looks, and some of it is just very calculated. Okay, I feel like I can get my shot here. There hasn't been anything where I felt like, okay, she forced it there. She's very comfortable, very, very composed with everything that she does in terms of running the point guard position. So I haven't been impressed with how she's grown through these first few games to take, what she's hearing from the coaching staff, from Jan saying, you need to shoot the ball. And from her teammates as well. Yesterday in the press conference, Hannah Stolke mentioned that she'll pass Chit Chat the ball in the game and say, shoot the ball. And in practice, the teammates will pass the ball and say, you got to shoot it. Because she's shown that she can be a very good shooter, very good scorer. So I've been impressed with her growth this quickly in terms of being okay with putting up 19 points in a game. You just kind of assume that everybody wants to be that type of player. But she's one that really wants to play in the system. And if the play call says pass the ball here, she generally likes to do that. But it's a matter of getting her to turn to, hey, if I feel like that pass there isn't going to work and I can dribble drive and pull up, or I can dribble drive and kick out, or I can just shoot the 3 here, to do that. And so I've been impressed with what she's done so far. And you mentioned Layla Hayes. I've been impressed with what she's done in terms of it looks like every game that she plays, she gets an extra level of confidence with their game. And yeah, there's a player here or there where she'll get a shot blocked, or she'll turn it over or something like that. But through 4 games, I think you've seen steps taken. And again, we'll see her against Baylor and Miami, and certainly teams like Iowa State and UConn. Those will certainly challenge the confidence level, and really there'll be some freshman moments in there. But I've been really impressed with her as well in terms of being able to fill that role as a secondary post player. The question coming into the year was, Ava Heiden's going to be the starting center. Can they rely on Layla Hayes to play the backup minutes? Are they going to have to move Hannah Stolke over there for some minutes? And I think Layla's shown that she can be the backup center this season behind Layla Hayes, or behind Ava Heiden. So that's been great. Overall, though, for the team, I think that the depth that they have has been something that stood out. We kind of felt like they had 9-10 players, and then Journey Houston, when Tegan Mulaney went down, Journey Houston came in and has done some really good things. Hasn't really stood out on the stat sheet in terms of scoring. But it always seems like, whatever she gets for minutes, whether it's 10 minutes or 15 minutes or 8 minutes, it's like, she finished with 7 rebounds in 9 minutes. How did she do that? Yesterday against UNI, 5 rebounds in 10 minutes, had an assist as well. Drake, I'm trying to look at the stat sheet here. She played 14 minutes, had 6 rebounds, 4 points, and had 3 assists. Just does some little things in there, whether it's rebounding or dumping off a little assist. And it looks like right now that Iowa has 11 players that they could go to in any game. And Tegan Mulaney is going to get there. She obviously was out in the exhibition game, missed the first 2 games, only played 9 minutes against UNI, only played 5 minutes against Drake. So she's still trying to work back. But I think when she's back to 100% and back in that game flow, they've got 11 players. And what that allows them to do, and Jan talked about this morning, we met with her over at Carver for media availability. what she said is that it allows them, in a close game, whether maybe it's Baylor on Thursday or maybe it's Miami later in the week, when they're in a close game that goes into the fourth quarter, it's a couple possession game. Those are the type of games where you're not playing 11, 12 players. You're not playing your whole bench in those games. You're generally going 8, 9, maybe a 10th player, but that 10th player is not playing many minutes. You really constrict your rotations. You really go with the players that you think are going to win you the game. But when you have a rotation that can go 10, now it seems like 11 deep with Journey Houston kind of forcing her way in there, there's going to be games where maybe you say, okay, this game so-and-so really kind of fits. This is a really good matchup for them. They're going to play more minutes. And then maybe that means someone in that 10th or 11th spot plays a couple of minutes or doesn't play at all. But then, maybe the next game really fits the person that didn't play the game before. And instead of having like a 9-player rotation or an 8-player rotation where you're only comfortable with those 8 players and, hey, the matchup doesn't fit this person, but they got to play. They do have enough players that they can kind of mix and match in certain games. And obviously there'll be adjustments in game, but Jan said that she feels like there are games where, maybe it's a Kylie Fierbach. Kylie maybe averages 25 minutes a game, but they're playing a really good guard. They need her on the floor for 35 minutes to guard this really good player, like a Juju Watkins, like last year when she had to do that. And then maybe so-and-so off the bench doesn't get to play those minutes because Kylie just played 35 minutes in this game. But the next game, maybe the team they're playing doesn't have really that star guard. So Kylie plays 25 minutes and so-and-so can come off the bench and provide more scoring or something like that. So I think that's what they have with this deep of a rotation, is that there's going to be certain players in certain games that the matchup fits better for them. And they have the ability with the rotation that they have and how deep they are to maybe mix and match in certain games and go with certain players for more minutes. And that's great to see that they have that.
I love what Journey's been doing. Obviously, biased here in the Quad Cities, but she's just going to be one of those players where it's going to be hard to keep her off the floor because she, like you said, she's not going to come in and score 20 or score 10 points in 5 minutes, but she's going to do everything she's supposed to do correctly to earn time and get her on the floor. Kyle Huesmann joining me right now. A lot of good going on. During the first 4 games, I'm still concerned with perimeter shooting and 3-point shooting. It was good in a few games, but yesterday's not good. I think 7 of 24. Where are you with that? Or if there's something this team needs to be concerned about as they move forward into the season, what's the most concerning thing for you right now?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I think what you mentioned, the 3-point shooting kind of stands out a little bit. Yeah, as you mentioned, I think it was Evansville. They were 14 of 26. Drake, they were 10 of 29. And then, against UNI, 7 of 24. So not as good of a day. Chit Chat has been phenomenal. I think she's 11 of 18 for the season, which is, I don't know the math off the top of my head. Got to be like 60% or something like that. And obviously Taylor McCabe, she's just 2 of 6 against UNI, but certainly Taylor McCabe is someone that is going to shoot 40% for the season, if not slightly above that. So if Chit Chat can continue to be a consistent shooter, obviously she's not going to shoot 60%. But if she can eventually kind of settle into a mid or upper 30s in terms of 3-point shooting, that'll be 2 really good players there. But after that, we just haven't seen consistent shooting from everybody. Emily Rodriguez was really good this first couple of games. She was 0 of 1 against UNI, 0 of 2 against Drake. We haven't really seen Kylie Fierbach get going from the 3-point line. Hannah Stolke's someone that only has 1 made 3. Again, she's not going to be someone that's really going to light it up, but someone that they feel like could make a few for them. Addie Deal was 1 of 5 against UNI. We've seen her make a couple. I think she had 2 against Evansville. She had 1 against Drake. So it looks like Chit Chat and Taylor McCabe have kind of taken the role as the top 2 3-point shooters right now. But after that, there's been no one that has been really that consistent. I will say Taylor Stremel has been pretty good. She was 2 of 4 against Drake, 1 of 3 against UNI. And I think she had 1 against Evansville maybe. So she's kind of done a good job off the bench. But I think the depth of their 3-point shooting right now hasn't been great. It's really helped that Chit Chat and Taylor McCabe have combined for, I believe they have 21 threes through 4 games right now. So it's been really good that they have combined for a good amount because the rest of the team hasn't really quite gotten there yet. So that's something that I'm interested in going forward, is if there's games where they need some more 3-point shooting, if they need to make 10, 12 threes in a game and it's not Chit Chat and it's not Taylor McCabe, is there someone there that's going to step up and do that? And I don't know right now. I mean, like I said, there's shooters there. We just haven't quite seen it yet. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But there's just not even a concern, but just kind of this overarching, this is a team that, as we've mentioned many times, a lot of new players, and even there's sophomores on this team that haven't really played a ton of college basketball yet. And you've got 2 transfers. You've got players that are in new roles with this team. the first 4 games, as we mentioned, they haven't been tested. Their closest margin after the first quarter was like 15-8 against UNI, I think. So they really haven't been tested a ton. And now when you start playing Baylor, then you got Miami after that. There's not long after that you got UConn, and you got Iowa State, you got Fairfield, who's a fantastic mid-major. There's going to be a lot of tests coming up, and it's just a matter of I haven't seen this team in a scenario where it's the third quarter, it's the fourth quarter, and it's this is a really close game. Who's going to step up and make the plays? How's the defense going to fare in a really close game? Are the young players going to stay composed and not turn it over? We just haven't seen them tested yet, and that's the one thing that not concerned, but it's just one of those we don't know what to expect yet. When they throw that ball up against number 7 Baylor on Thursday, just what's going to happen? We think it's going to be pretty good. We think this team's played really well so far, but Baylor is not. I mean, no disrespect to the teams they played. Baylor's not UNI. They're not Drake. They're definitely not Evansville. They're way better than all those teams. So it's just a matter of what I want to see this Baylor game. I want to see the Miami game. And after those 2 games and we see them play, I think we'll learn a lot about them. But right now, I mean, we think they've played well, but I think it's almost fair to say that we don't really know a ton about this team yet, just because they haven't been in that scenario where it's the third quarter, it's the fourth quarter, there's some adversity. Baylor just went on an 8-0 run to take the lead. How are you going to respond? We just haven't seen them in those scenarios yet. So once we see them in a few of those scenarios, we'll be able to make some conclusions about this team. But that's the big thing for me, is just seeing them in some of those situations that we haven't seen them in yet.
Kyle Huesmann from the Hawkeye Report joining me right now. One more basketball, then I want to talk. You're busy this time of year. You got a soccer and field hockey and everything else, so a little bit about that as well. It is Baylor coming up on Thursday. That's right. And then they play Miami Thursday after that down in Orlando. What do we know about Baylor? Obviously, number 7 in the country, really good program, tons of talent. Kind of set us up or prepare us for Iowa's first test of the season, and it's a big test coming up on Thursday.
Yeah, and Baylor's gotten off to a pretty good start. They got the win over Duke in the opener, and Duke was a preseason top 10 team. Not really a fan of them. They really remind me of the old Virginia men's basketball teams, where they're just going to, for some reason, try to win like 50-45 on you. And hasn't really worked for Duke. I think Baylor beat them like 55-52 or something like that, and then Duke just went and lost to West Virginia and only scored 49 points, I think. So I'm pretty down on Duke. I think they were a little overrated, but still a big win for Baylor. And then they went on the road and beat UNLV, who's a solid mid-major program. So they've gotten a couple of decent wins. The thing that stands out about Baylor is they're similar to Iowa in the way that they, the further you go down the rotation, there's players that you feel like can be good, but they just haven't had a ton of experience. So they're pretty inexperienced the further you go down their rotation. But their top 3 is phenomenal. Leah Scott came over. She's a transfer from either Auburn or Arkansas. I think she's been at both schools. I can't remember which one she came from. I think she was injured last year, actually. Fantastic guard. She is a very good scorer, averaging 24.5 per game through 4 games. So already scored 98 points this season. So she's been really good. But she's not the only one. Bella Fauntleroy is a good 3-point shooter for him. Is a player that's been around. She's a senior for Baylor, so she's been around on some really good Baylor teams. She's averaging 14 a game. And then Dariana Little-Page-Buggs is kind of a guard-forward mix. Really good rebounder. Almost averaged a double-double last season. She's averaging 12.5 points and 9.8 rebounds per game through the 4 games. So those are their top 3. They're combining for 51 points per game on a team that's averaging 73 a game. So they really, really lean heavily on those top 3. So it'd be interesting to see if one of them is to have an off night, or if Iowa can kind of try to take away one of them. Can another player on Baylor step up and be a scorer? Because you look at their scoring, it's 24.5, it's 14, 12.5, then it's 6.3, and then it's 4.1. So it drops off really quickly in terms of what they've gotten through these first 4 games, which is surprising to me when they've played a Lindenwood, who's an okay team over in the Ohio Valley. They only scored 76, but you didn't see that balanced scoring. It's still those top 3. Put up 99 against Lemoyne, and again, you look at the stats through 4 games, and it's really, really heavily skewed to those top 3. So I'm not saying that Baylor's not good. I think those top 3 are phenomenal players. I think it's going to give Iowa a handful to work with, but maybe not just quite the scoring. But this is going to be a huge test. I mean, if Iowa goes out and beats a Baylor, that's going to tell us a lot about this Iowa team. And then certainly Miami. I don't know that they're quite a top 25 team. I've said this before. I think Miami's probably 7 to 10 seed in the NCAA tournament. So a really solid team, a really good test when, again, they really haven't been tested yet. So to get Baylor and then get Miami. And Jan told us this morning that the Miami's a team that's going to press a lot. And we saw how Iowa handled that against Southern. And again, in the season opener. So they've got a few games under their belt now that maybe they feel a little bit more settled in some of those situations. But Miami's going to test them in that way with the press. So, like I said, I think this is two great tests to see Iowa play against the top 10 team in Baylor, and then see them play against maybe a fringe NCAA tournament team, probably an NCAA tournament team in Miami. Like I said, we're going to learn a lot about this Iowa team over the next week, and these are two great opportunities for Iowa if they want to move up the AP poll rankings, which again I know they don't matter right now, and they really in the long run don't matter at all. But I will see where Iowa is in today's poll. But if they want to go from about 20 to up and around the top 10, go beat Baylor and go beat Miami, and they'll be forced to move you up. But like I said, this is going to be two really good tests for a team that hasn't quite been tested yet.
Kyle, before we let you go, you're busy with soccer and field hockey this weekend. Kind of talk about your busy weekend and obviously soccer with a thriller and a one goal victory, field hockey as well. Kind of talk about the other sports going on at the University of Iowa besides the women's basketball program.
Yeah, the field hockey team played. They were the first game on that triple header of games on Friday that I had to cover. And field hockey, unfortunately, lost to Duke 2-1 in the NCAA tournament. So their season is over at 14-6. Scored a goal in the first half and took the lead. And in the second half, Duke got 2 in the second half. Kind of unfortunate in the fourth quarter. Got a couple of yellow cards that I wasn't entirely sure were good calls. Duke scores with a 5-minute player advantage to take the lead or to tie the game. They take the lead, and Iowa's still trying to play out that last 5-minute yellow card. So tough to play a player down when you're forced to try to get a goal there late, and had a couple opportunities on the penalty corner in the final minutes, just couldn't find a goal, and ended the game 0 for 8 on the penalty corner. They did a great job of earning the corners, just couldn't get one to go through, and that was something that was a strength all season. So it was tough to see them not come through in that situation late in the game, but still a good season to go from 9-9 to bounce back and get to the NCAA tournament with a lot of new pieces that they had at the beginning of the season. Some players that came from overseas that just hadn't been with this Iowa team, and Frederique Van Cleef comes over and fits in right away and puts up. I think she finished with 13 goals, and Dion and her finished with a combined 40 goals on the season, 41 goals on the season. So a really good year to get back to the NCAA tournament, and they'll try to build next year and try to get back to the tournament and try to win a game. And then on the soccer side, I was there for the first half on Friday before I went over to the Iowa Xavier men's basketball game, and Iowa scored in the third minute. Great goal. Lexi Griffin with a fantastic, long range ball into the box, and Kenzie Rowling got a touch on it and put it off the post and in, and gave him the lead that ended up holding up 1-0. But huge shout out to Fernanda Mayrink, the goalkeeper for Iowa, saves a penalty kick in the second half to keep that game at 1-0. That's about as heroic as it gets in soccer, to in that situation save a penalty kick to keep your team up 1-0 in the NCAA tournament. And they held on for the 1-0 win, and that's a really solid South Dakota State team. They played a really close game against Kansas earlier in the year, who's a 3 seed in the NCAA tournament. And nearly got a draw with them. I think Kansas had to make like 3 saves in the final 5 minutes to keep a 1-0 win there. So that was a good win for Iowa in the opening round. I was the 5 seed. They'll face 4 seed LSU on Thursday afternoon in Nashville. That's Vanderbilt, the 1 seed now in that region that is now hosting these games. LSU beat Houston Christian, the Southland Conference champion, 4-1 in their opening game. So we'll see. I think Iowa's got a team that can certainly beat LSU. I think this is a Sweet 16 level team that Iowa has if they, if they play at their best level of soccer. And then if they were to get past LSU on Thursday, it would be a Sunday game against either Vanderbilt, who is the top seed in the region, or Clemson, who I believe is the 8 seed. So yeah, I mean, Iowa's trying to, again, we've talked about this. I think we probably talked about it last year when we talked about soccer, that this program, every time something happens, it seems like this is the first time this has happened because of just, how the program was before Dave Deani arrived. They get a win over LSU. It'd be the second Sweet 16 appearance in program history. It'd be the first time that they've done it back-to-back times. So there's a lot to play for, obviously, with this game against LSU, and I think it's a winnable game. So that is on Thursday. I believe it's at 4. Probably ESPN Plus. I don't know off the top of my head what it's going to be on, but certainly a big one of soccer on Thursday, and then after that at 8:00 is when the women's team plays Baylor. So it's just never ending. And I believe the men's team plays on Thursday, right, as well, against Chicago State.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just never ending this time of year, especially when you're covering field hockey and soccer, and you got men's and women's basketball, football's going on. So yeah, there's a lot to cover, but yeah, hopefully the soccer team can get back to the Sweet 16. Dave Diani's just a phenomenal coach, has done a great job with this program to put them in this position to even have a chance to make it to back-to-back Sweet 16s.
Absolutely. Well, make Caker do some work. I know you're carrying him. He going out to California, eating it. I don't think he had the In-N-Out like he normally does, but make him do some work. Kyle, we always appreciate it. You can check out everything on the HawkeyeReport.com. Follow Kyle on social media as well. And it's that time of year. Kyle Huesmann is usually a once, if not twice a week guest here on Off the Air. I appreciate you. I'll probably book you for Friday. Like now, we might as well just book it for Friday sometime because you're going to have a busy Thursday night. I appreciate you, my friend. Be good. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
All right, that is Kyle Huesmann from the Hawkeye Report, and he mentioned it. Big game for Iowa women coming up on Thursday. Baylor, big-time test, national exposure, all those kind of things as well. So best of luck there. And then, of course, he mentioned tough Friday for the field hockey team, the soccer team, and they're heading to the to take on LSU. So the best of luck to them as well. Well, we got a lot more to get to here on the show. Reminder, go to X right now. Our poll question of the day is simple. Will the Bears win the NFC North? Yes or no? Weigh in on that. And then coming up after the break, my good friend John Marx will join us for a Marxy Monday. We'll talk about the Bears, my Lions, thoughts on all of those kind of things. Plus, I experienced something at a third grade basketball game that I hadn't experienced in my life before yesterday. And it has me, well, a little cranky, well, a lot of cranky. So we'll talk about that and much more. John Marx and a lot to get to right after this. You're watching OTA on a Monday right here in the Quad Cities. We'll be right back. Are you looking to take your next party, tailgate, or golf outing to the next level? You need mobile party experience. MPX features 3 top-of-the-line party trailers equipped with all the amenities you need to party like a rock star. Smart TVs, Yeti coolers, JBL sound systems, grills, bathrooms, and much more. Mobile party experience is an experience like no other. Check out my-mpx.com or call 563-514-1470 and book your mobile party experience today.
Give me the keys. Learning to drive can be stressful for both the student and, yes, the parent as well. Relax. There's an easy way to avoid the stress. Skiles Driving School in East Moline has been helping new drivers hit the road with confidence for over 20 years. Whether you're a teen earning your first license or an adult looking for behind-the-wheel training, we've got you covered. Their certified instructors are patient, experienced, and use modern vehicles equipped for safety and comfort. From classroom instruction to real-world driving, we make learning safe, affordable, and even fun. Call 309-278-0098 or visit skylesdriving.com. Skiles Driving School. Get in, buckle up, drive your future forward.
Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Monday in the Quad Cities. It was a busy weekend as always in the world of sports. So much to get to. I've mentioned throughout the show I'm a little cranky. It wasn't my favorite weekend when it comes to sports and my teams and all those kind of things. So, and when I'm cranky and when I'm happy, but this guy has to deal with me a lot. And I'm going to bring up John Marx and Marxy Monday. Johnny, you know me, you listen to me all the time. Cranky,
Yep.
Complain about everything. Happy Monday. How's life in your
Happy
world?
Monday to you, Pally.
Good to
Appreciate
see
it.
you.
Thanks for the time.
No, good to see you. I know we're on the countdown. We talk about it every week. One game left. Senior day for Jackson next week.
Then we're done. And then I hope, and I hope grad school can't come fast enough. Yes, there are 2 chances for him to chase something after, which I don't. I just hope he doesn't take those people up on their offer and move on. So that's a dad.
Yeah.
He's not, my son, he's not 6'2". Check a professional long snapper and see the size in the NFL, and he could never get to that size to do it.
Yeah.
So, but I think he's just as good as Luke Elkin, who's on the Bears practice squad.
Yeah.
So
no,
he's
he's done an amazing job of. Yep. And you know me, I'm biased. You're biased, but I'm biased too. He's an amazing kid despite his dad. So I love the fact that you're enjoying the end of the journey. It's been and everybody's journey is, and it's up and down. There's peaks, there's valleys, everything else. So to get to the finish line and know that you guys have a lot to be proud of, and Jackson does as well, is really, really cool. Did they win? Did they win on Saturday? I should know this.
Yes, they did. And it was also nice Saturday night to see Georgia, and I'm a Georgia fan now, kick Texas butt. And look on the sideline and see that one corner of Georgia's football stadium where they put all the visiting parents, and that they let me stand on the hedges and yell the one thing. This, Maddie, you know me, I've gone through this. When he's snapping a football, since he was in high school, since he was 8 years old, I yell a couple things, and he can't hear me, never has. Can't hear me yelling him when I was coaching him, whether he was playing linebacker or center. But yes, that Georgia is my favorite, and that's my favorite place of all the travels that we've been. So yes, Thank you for asking.
No, absolutely.
The end is near, and I'm more worried about his GPA staying really close to 4 than I am anything else.
Absolutely. He's a great kid. As I said, despite
he's like his mother.
Okay, Johnny, I don't know what to start with you, because I gotta complain about like something I saw yesterday in youth basketball, but I'm gonna wait on that because I woke up in a world where what is it, November 17th? I woke up in a world where on November 17th, the Chicago Bears are in first place by themselves in the NFC North. How do I take that? How do you look at that? How do I, I'll give my thoughts in a second, but the Bears are in first place by themselves. Your thoughts?
A win's a win, and you never apologize for a win. Maddie, with 4 minutes to go, I think, in a football game yesterday, your offensive genius, who's the head coach, calls a play, and they run it, and it gets this close to getting picked off. And instead of running the football, which you had just done five times on first down and second down and got consecutive first downs with DeAndre Swift, whether it be 8, 4, 3, 2, whatever. He got the bulk of his yardage yesterday late in the ballgame. And you are a perfect opportunity to control the clock and run this thing out, and you get stupid greedy. So that's a sign of a football team not ready to take the next step because it almost got picked off. The Vikings moving the football as easily as they did to score the go-ahead touchdown is a sign that this football team is not ready to take that next step. Now, all that said, you move the football in position. Santos, really good kicker, Cairo Santos. I understand that. He missed his previous kick. Smart move on the Bears to get it to the right hash because he missed from the middle the time before and hooked it a little, and the ball went left. Oh, yeah. So are they in first place? Yes, and I'm a Bears fan. So great, no complaints in the NFL to be with that record in first place. And you, again, a win is a win, but I'm not rejoicing. I still want to see a couple things out of them as a team. I want to, you got to get guys healthy too, especially on the back end. But they gave up too many easy things yesterday to call themselves a team ready to take that step. And J.J. McCarthy was flat out brutal until the last 5 minutes of that football game.
It angers me that the Lions lost to the Vikings, and I was there, and it ticked me off to this day. I've been really nice with the Bears, and they're 7-3, and that's the bottom line. I get all that. I'm not taking anything away, and I always, as a fan of football, I'll watch these power rankings that everybody puts out every week. And like, I'll get into them too much. And then I'll be like, who cares about a power ranking? That's not how they do football. Like, football is done on the field and standings and all those kind of things.
Right.
I don't think it's that big of a deal. So if there's a power ranking, I still don't have the Bears very high in the power rankings. Bottom line is they're 7-3. But I've been very nice, and a win is a win. I'll continue that. But man, smoke and mirrors, and it reminds me of I don't know that it's Matt Nagy's year where Mitch Trubisky led him to the postseason, the double doink year, where it was like, and it seems like to me, this will make every Bears fan mad. When they're good, it's the luckiest stuff I've ever seen. And now they go next week, and you look ahead and you're like, Steelers coming to town. They're playing well. They won yesterday. Oh, wait. Aaron Rodgers has a broken wrist. He's probably going to miss the game. You're going to get Mason Rudolph. If you don't beat Mason Rudolph at home, like, shame on you. So, like, again, it seems like a lot of the breaks continue to go their way. Again, literally, what I like about the Bears is that they run the football. Plain and simple, they run the football. They're trying to. Maybe they should have in a point yesterday. I agree with you that they didn't. But that's to be said. But man, every single week it's like, okay, they're playing a bad team and they barely win, or they have a break go their way to win. And I know that's not, they don't make their schedule. They don't do all those kind of things, but looking long term, I don't know how much better obviously it's getting better. Obviously it's getting better, and they're winning games they're not supposed to, but playing a fourth place schedule and playing bad teams and getting victories, it's getting annoying as a Lions fan. I'll be honest with you. It's getting annoying. Okay. But they win the games. So that's the bottom line.
How did your Lions become one of the best teams in the NFC?
But when they did it,
playing that schedule that got them over the hump.
100%. Correct? But when they were doing it, they passed the eye test. And eye test means nothing. Eye test means nothing. But like, you could watch the Lions in the last several years going, oh, that guy's really good. That guy's really good. This guy's like roster wise, and I'm not being mean, but you'll look in I'll take the Vikings roster over the Bears roster. I'll take the Packers roster over the Bears. If I'm just starting a football team and I get to go pick one of the rosters, the Bears are the last roster I'm taking, right?
I'll take the Bears interior front on defense. Getting better. I'll take Adunze, and I'll take Luther Burden any day over anybody in the league, and who I think he has the ability to be in the same breath as
Luther Burden. Luther Burden's a third wide receiver on the Bears. He'd be if you combine them with the Vikings, he'd be the sixth. Like Jordan Addison, JJ, Justin Jefferson.
Let's talk
I think he's going to be good.
Let's talk a couple of years.
Yeah,
Luther Burden. Special teams. The Bears. I'm not sold on Scott Daly as the snapper, and I watch that all the time. The Bears' special teams were not really good, but they came up big with the kick return, which I think the new NFL kick return. You wanted more returns. Well, you got it, and it cost the Vikings a football game. Back to the Bears. They are 7-3. You win 7 out of 10 games in the NFL. I don't care who you're playing. It's all good. Don't whine or complain. And say you beat the Steelers. Don't whine and complain if you finish 9-8, 8-9.
They could, Johnny. I think they could win the division. I think the Bears, and it's the crazy thing of the NFL. But you look at, and the Bears' schedules get more tough, more difficult. But like the Lions' schedule's brutal. I mean, they still have the Packers. They have to go to Minnesota, go to Chicago. They have to go to LA and play the Rams. They have the Steelers. Like it's a hard schedule. They could win. They could win the division because who's calling
plays?
What's that?
For the Lions, who's calling plays this week? Genius didn't.
It was Dan.
Dan didn't work this week.
I'll tell you this. It'll be Dan again. And I love this man. I love this bobblehead. I need you. Hold on. I need you to plug your ears because I'm going to say some things that you're not going to like. He had an awful game yesterday. An awful game. He was trying to run in the middle when Philadelphia's best part of their defense is those two big defensive tackles. Then
stop.
Go.
How much film did you watch last week?
Who's that? Me?
How much film did you watch of the Eagles 7 or 8 games? How much film did you watch last week before they played?
I don't think I need to watch film to know who the best players are.
No, answer my.
I watched the Packers game. I watched the Packers Eagles.
Don't start being that guy that when it comes to play calling.
Okay, how about, can we talk about the fourth downs? And I love the man for fourth downs. Johnny,
Absolutely.
and as well as I do, and he lives on it and all those kind of things, but he's done a pretty good job. Everyone thinks Dan's like this crazy nut job. And like usually he'll have a feel for the game and he'll do the right thing.
Usually?
The feel for that game last night was not, it was punt the football, play defense. Philadelphia couldn't drive the ball 80 yards on the Lions. They just couldn't do it. Like, that offense wasn't very good, and he continued to take points. Like, we love Kirk Ferentz. That was a Iowa football game last night. It wasn't going to be that. He tried to make it something that it wasn't. He tried to make it a 30-point, game in the 30s, and it was going to be a game in the teens. And he could have won the game that way. And then the way he ended the half, like, they had 3 timeouts. You knew Philly was going to score. He took none of those timeouts. But, hey, I love Dan Campbell. He had a bad game last night. And the pass interference, Johnny.
14-37.
But that's because of the game.
14-37.
But that's because of the game that he called. Plain and simple.
And Johnny Morton can't do that?
I don't want Johnny Morton to do it. But what I'm saying is, if they played that game correctly, why were they throwing the ball every single time? They threw the ball every single play because they were down. They didn't need to be down in the football game. They didn't need to be. They could have kicked field goals. They could have done things differently. I love Dan Campbell. It wasn't all his fault. It's okay to be a fan. Hey, look at me. You're arguing with me and I'm bashing the Lions. This is what my Mondays become, is I'm bashing. They didn't play. And then the pass interference was awful. And the 14-37 was also the front line, and that's those guys up front and the way. And the Lions got to a point where they weren't going to run the football, which was shame on you. Still run the football. It's a 1-score game, and they got away from running the football. Hey, the best offensive player on the field last night, maybe player in general, was Jahmyr Gibbs, and you didn't give him the ball enough. So the pass interference call, real fast. Did you see the late pass interference call on the Lions?
Yes.
It's kind of with the Iowa stuff. Like, Iowa did enough to screw everything up on their own, so they didn't really need to blame the referees, and the Lions did too. But what is pass interference anymore now in the NFL? If that's pass interference,
whatever you can't get caught with, where you place your hands and turning your head. Seriously, if your head, I've learned this. If your head is turned toward the football, nothing's ever going to be called.
Yeah,
nothing.
Yeah.
So again, let me know how film study goes this week for you.
I watch a lot. I watch. I don't know if I study, but I watch. I'll tell you this too, John. So back to the Bears real quick, so I don't.
Okay.
But you look at it, and I know the schedule is going to get tough. But Johnny, they did go on the road and beat Minnesota. That's a tough place to play. I think JJ McCarthy's garbage. I'm mad the Lions lost to him, and Caleb didn't play good yesterday. And take away the last 3 minutes of the Giants game, and he didn't play good against the Giants. So like, it's still there's a lot to be worried about when it comes to the Bears. Enjoy it, Bears fans, though. And this is coming from a Lions fan that lost a lot forever. When the Lions got good, I kept my mouth shut. I did. I didn't go call every Bears fan I know and let them know that we were in first place on November 17th. Because that's the goal, Johnny. The goal, every NFL team sits out and says, hey, we need to be in first place on November 17th. We need to do it somehow, some way. So just pump the brakes. Enjoy it, and you have the ultimate win. If you're arguing with somebody, you're 7-3, you're in first place. Enjoy the heck out of it. But man, I'm still trying to figure out how that football team is 7-3 on the season. It's crazy to me.
But take that a step further. Brian Daboll's out of a job because his team couldn't be 7-3 and finish games in the fourth quarter, and the Bears actually have done some good things in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So,
no, absolutely.
And won a ball game yesterday.
Hey, win is a win. I'm not taking that away from them. Bears fans are going to hate me, but I'm excited that Bears fans care about football again. It's exciting for me because then I can argue with people in the fall. And
Absolutely.
all those kinds of, and I'm telling you, I'm scared out of my mind. Let me go on record on November 17th. I'm scared out of my mind about the last game of the year in Soldier Field because it's going to mean something. And the Lions hammered them the first time because while they have 7-3, I still have 52-21 or whatever it was. But with that being said, they ran the score up, Johnny. And karma's karma's a you-know-what. And so I didn't love it. I didn't love the way they did. I did at the time. I was giggling like a schoolgirl and giving high fives to my brother, but it could come back to bite you in the butt. So hopefully it doesn't. Okay, we got to get on to the other stuff. We talked a bunch of Iowa with Pat, so I'm not going to bug you too much with Iowa. I want to talk to you about Illinois because I think Brett Bielema did a great job getting back on track. I love the fact that the defense played well. Matthew Bailey led that team in tackles, played really well. I think if Illinois is going to continue down the way, that defense has to play well because the offenses they're going to get what they need. Your thoughts on the Illini getting another victory, getting to 7-3 on the season, and playing good at home against Maryland?
I want, and I also like what Maryland did on Sunday, committing to Coach Loxley and saying, hey, we're going to make more of a difference NIL wise. We're going to get in the game. So they've always done that basketball wise. Now they've done it for football, even though they've struggled the last 2 years. He's a tremendous football coach. Okay, Illinois, bye weeks can cure it all. Maddie, as you know, and defensively, they showed that what they needed to do and take care of business against a team that they were better than. Give them credit there. Offensively, I still think they're as good as many other teams in that conference. Be happy. 9-3 will get you in the top 25, and will get you a wonderful bowl to enhance your. Whatever wherever that money goes nowadays, with all the different with all the different components we have to college football. Look at Iowa talking how excited it was to wrestle for $200K last night. So beautiful, done well. 9-3. Hey, look, Iowa's got to fight its backside off to win 8 football games. In Michigan State, that's a winnable football game. No gimme. Played horrible up there last year. Come in, they can take care of that. And then it's Nebraska in Nebraska's house to keep from going 7-5 and make it a true disappointment. And how's that feel to spend $1 million on a quarterback? Yeah. Illinois is in prime. Altmaier came back. The offense is there are many, many weapons. And it was nice to see that they played all 3 phases well, and give them credit. Again, that program is trending up. I don't know, again, and we've talked about this, the difference between Iowa and Illinois is this level will always be anything Coach Ferentz does. Now, with Illinois, because of things past, it's this. Well, now it's going to be this way and this. With Brett Bielema, and they'll always be that 8 or 7, maybe 9 win football team. Some years 10, some years even better. So if he stays, that's the beauty of it. They are trending, and I know that's an overused word, trending in the upward direction, and take advantage of it. Stay in state, continue to do what you do. They're fun to watch. Maryland's they were 4-0 at one time. They're not a bad football team. They've just hit that back of that schedule where if you roll and you keep rolling down the hill. And Iowa was kind of on that in the third quarter Saturday when I watched the tape of it Saturday night, and wow, got to get. Well, I know Pat talked about it, so got to get better there. But Illinois. Right place, right time.
Johnny, I'm cranky because I did some. If anybody watches me coach, I get to coach the 8th grade at Jordan Catholic, and I get to coach some fifth graders as well. And I'm animated, if you couldn't tell. I know all the referees. They're all good guys. And the reason why I know them is because when you do what I did for 25 years and you stand on a sideline and you stand on a baseline, not even a sideline, you stand on the baseline, you get to know all of these referees during timeouts, during everything. They're great dudes. I'm the first person to support referees. But when I'm coaching, I'm animated, and I get, and so, and all of them know that I am. We talk, we have good conversations. I think they all, maybe besides Kevin Ferris, who I annoy probably to the utmost degree, but I can with Kevin. It is what it is. So I got to be a dad yesterday. I was watching my third grader play basketball. And it was a third grade basketball game, and their team did well. They won 26-6. Scoreboard doesn't mean anything. They're all trying to get better, all that kind of stuff. I thought the referees did a fantastic job, as always, of just third grade basketball. You're calling travels, you're explaining what it was, all those kind of things. They're not getting overly picky when it comes to if a kid takes a step before he puts the ball down, they're not getting close, but they're doing a good job and everything. The referees had no factor on a third grade basketball game. Let me emphasize that, a third grade basketball game yesterday. And then after the game, a parent for the other team came out on the court and started berating the official about traveling calls and the way he called a basketball game. First off, it was 26-6. It meant nothing for your team. You lost by 20. And that's not even important. Second, look at what you're doing when all the other kids are watching what you're doing. More or less your own kid or nephew or whatever it was out there as well. And I honestly went to scramble for my phone because I was going to take video. And then my kid had my phone watching football. So by the time I found it, but she's got her phone in the referee's face taking pictures of him. And so Johnny, why are we doing this still? Why is it to the point where now in third grade, meaningless basketball, nobody won a trophy or anything. It doesn't matter. Why are we yelling at referees on the middle of the court in front of third graders on a Sunday afternoon? Make it make sense to me.
Oh, I can't, Matt, because first of all, did you pay to get in?
Yeah.
Okay.
You did.
I know, but if I was a person in charge, I would take that, whatever, my cash box.
Yeah.
I'd take that, give her her money back, and tell her she's never, ever welcome in this gym again. Whoever's running that league or a tournament or whatever, they should confront her, throw her rear end out, never let her come back. Her child should have, you're not supposed to talk back to your parents. Well, Mom, you just embarrassed the bleep out of me.
Yeah.
So my goodness, I wish you could have got I would love to have seen the video.
Johnny, I was going to play it. I was so mad
I would expose her
because I was going to put it on the show today. And I'm like, just stop. Everyone watching this. And trust me, I get into it. There was a fifth grade game.
Who gets yelled at more by officials than me?
Yeah. There was a fifth grade game that I was coaching, and we got to a point where I was like, how many fouls are there on the other team? Because there was a lot. And the guy at the book's like 10. And I'm like, hey, it's the 10th foul. And the referee's like, oh, we should shoot the double. And I'm like, well, yeah, but we didn't shoot the 7, 8, or 9 either. And it's Sunday. These guys are coaching, or these guys are refereeing game after game after game after game in these things. And I said to him, it's no big deal. It is what he's like. Well, I don't want to get it wrong. I said, it's fine. They probably should have told you. I could have said something. It's no big deal. Move on. It's amazing that the attitudes that some people and some parents have. And if you want to be like that, whatever lady you are, and you probably never watch this show, I hope you do. If you then coach, if you're that animated about something, if anything, if anything, get a t-shirt and go stand on the sidelines and do it that way. I still don't love if you're a third grade coach and you do that, but you should be worried about your kids, their ability, them getting better, their attitudes, all those kind of things. And the worst part, Johnny, is, again, they see this. Kids see this, and they're like, oh, Mom did this. I'm going to do this. It's not right.
Yeah.
It's messed up. It's weird. It's wrong. Stop doing it. And that's the first time I had seen something to that level. And I meant to follow up and talk to people there to find out like what her deal was and all that kind of stuff. But I know before the end of the game, she was yelling about traveling calls. And I'm just like, what? Like I was just I was like surprised by it. So anyways, Johnny, I wish people would just chill out.
She got to go.
Yeah.
She's got to go.
I wish
you've been around enough travel baseball to watch some idiot walk an umpire to the changing room in between games.
Yep.
Come on, there are idiots everywhere.
Yeah.
And again, if here's my only qualm: if an umpire or a referee tries to make the game about them, is my issue. And I've run into hundreds of those at the high school level, and that gets me in trouble. But if it's not, shut up. Yeah, shut up. Don't make it about you, referee. But let them do their job. You just embarrassed your poor child. So yes,
I'd never seen in this level like 8-year-old kids and people complaining about that. Again, if you want to complain with referees, at least get a coaching shirt on and at least coach a little bit as well. So, Johnny, last night was the Western Big Six coaches banquet for boys basketball. I love the night. I'll say everybody knows Sean Taylor was the most entertaining, the most
always is
the funniest. I will say Andy Say was really, really good. Really, really entertaining. He was funny as well. It's a time to trade jabs here and there. MC22 was there. So if people want to watch it, they can check it out on MC22. Basketball season's here, and you've been to that banquet so many times, and people say like, oh, you still do the banquet. We do still do the banquet. I think the crowd was up this year, which was great. And you go back to the Duncan Reeds and everything of this world. It's just a fun night to celebrate high school sports.
Absolutely. And we don't need to stop that stuff. We need football. Thank you, Rock On Boosters. We need basketball, boys and girls, and we need the baseball one. Thank you, Kevin Corrigan, in the spring, which was a phenomenal night. So no, these things, it's the one time that they all can take a deep breath. You can take no one cares. You take all the jabs you want. But you got to remember, no one forgets. Everybody has a short memory when it comes to that stuff. But yes, it's good. We celebrate. Here's what I love is we celebrate high school sports and which, in this business, what you're doing now, what you used to do, what I used to do, prep sell. And the people care and people want to be part of it. They enjoy going back to their high school or the town they're from. Watch Wharton Fieldhouse on a Friday night. Watch Rocky Fieldhouse early this year. Rock Island Fieldhouse. It's not the Rock Garden. You can shove that. Not a fan of it. But go back and pay attention to when Quincy comes to town because they have a great recruiting class. They always do. So I don't know if they win in the country or out of the country. We always make fun of Quincy. The Rock Island Moline with the transfers and Rock Island's going to be phenomenal. UT is going to be good. Everybody in the conference, it's going to be kind of up for grabs. Yeah. Everybody's going to be better. This is the beauty of it, man. I love high school basketball around here.
Johnny,
especially both sides.
Did you do you know who the new head coach at Galesburg is?
No.
Taylor Thiel.
Oh my goodness.
He is the grandson of John Thiel, the legendary head coach at Galesburg. He's moved back from Dallas to take the job. He brings his son with him, his whole family, obviously, but his son comes with him, who'll be a senior there as well. He was on the 98 team that took second place with Joey Range and Rod Thompson and those guys. Yes. There was a Shea on that team too. I think it was Bo.
Dr. Shea.
I think.
Yes.
Yeah, Dr. Shea. Thank you very much.
So it was cool. He came home.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of the next, Cheryl Hanks. All we need is Cheryl Hanks' grandson moving in, or one of Duncan's grandchildren. That's the beauty of the Western Big Six, and he's embraced. You don't win in Galesburg. I don't care what your grandfather did. You're probably going to get fired.
Yeah.
I mean, they want winning basketball.
Yeah.
They love basketball. It's a basketball town. So, again, that's beautiful.
It's cool.
And there's no shortage of guys taking good-natured jabs at each other. And but it's all business on Friday night. The Western Big Six is fun basketball-wise.
Yeah.
So is the MAC.
So Sean Taylor rolls in late.
Of course.
And like, yeah, he's and I figure, like, obviously he's the winningest coach in Western Big Six history or whatever it is. So I figured it was a little bit of that. I also figured he was on a recruiting trip to Chicago. So I mentioned that as well. Then he called me Dumbo. I mean, that's such low-hanging fruit. It's lazy, right? Like, that's
took
lazy.
your ears into play.
Yeah, it's lazy. It's lazy. Come on. So it was a bunch of fun. I'd encourage everybody to check it out on MC22. And basketball season is officially here. Taylor Thiel is his name. He's the new head coach at Galesburg. We're going to have him on the show sometime, I hope this week as well. Great conversation with him. I ate dinner next to him. I want to thank the Rock Island Milan Booster Club for allowing me to do the football one and the boys basketball one. And it's cool because we talk about the coaches and like the Leggett's and the Duncan Reeds and everybody who used to. Tom Cornelis was the MC of this thing for a long time. So for the coaches are great now, just like they passed down that tradition. And for me to get to do it with TC and what he means in the Quad Cities and stuff, it's really cool to continue to do. So I'd encourage people to go check it out. I feel like our time was short today, Johnny. It's not. We filled it up and then some, but like I complained too much. I complained about the referees or the parents. I complained about the Bears. I complained about the Lions. I complained about the most important person in my life, Dan Campbell. And that's how my Monday's going. Like, it's like Dan Campbell, my wife and kids, John Marx. No, I'm kidding. My wife and kids still have the, but anyways, it's a cranky Monday, but I appreciate you listening to me as you always do. We'll do this again next week. Thanks, buddy.
See you on Wednesday, pal. I love you.
All right. Absolutely. Yeah. I should note, Johnny and I will be doing a Blackhawk doubleheader on MC22. The women start at 5. The men start at 7 o'clock. Great head coaches at Blackhawk. Love both of them. So we can catch up with them the next couple days. So if you're in the area on Wednesday and you're looking to check out some college basketball, head over to Blackhawk College or check it out on MC22. We got more to get to. You're watching OTA on a Monday right here in the Quad Cities.
Hello, Dan Pearson here of FCA. Our team is thrilled to support Off the Air with our good friend Matt Randazzo. We share the view of the power of sport when it comes to relationships, including the influence of the coach. FCA believes the coach is the most influential person in America. Matt celebrates local coaches and athletes. His content is informational, insightful, and inspirational. Our Fellowship of Christian Athlete team loves partnering with Off the Air with Matt Randazzo while we engage, equip, and empower coaches and athletes in our 23 counties. FCA, the heart and soul in sports.
View from the West, the podcast covering Illinois high school football.
It's going to be a hard-hitting game. It's going to be great football.
Weekly analysis and reaction from around the western side of the state of Illinois.
This is the game we had circled when the year started.
Follow along on YouTube and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
It's big-time football out there tonight, and I know we can play big-time football.
View from the West. We got you covered.
Are you looking for the Quad City's best chips and salsa? There's only one dude to turn to.
Right on.
Snoop. Hand-cut chips, fried fresh with that crunch you've come to love. And the most addicting salsa with delicious fresh ingredients each and every time. Pick up your chips and salsa, queso, enchiladas, and much more at the Stern Center in Rock Island. To place your order, simply call the man himself. It's Snoop at 309-314-8197 and find out for yourself what the rest of the Quad Cities already loves. Welcome back to Off the Air with Matt Randazzo here on a Monday, November 17th. Thank you guys for joining us. We we are running out of time. Usually this show goes around 2 hours, sometimes an hour 40, sometimes an hour 45. That's the beauty part of what I get to do is I can kind of set what I want to do. But things filled up quick today. I felt like I was too cranky, which it's the cold, it's my teams, all those kind of things. But we made it through the day. Again, the OTA poll question of the day: will the Bears make the postseason? Yes or no? Simple as that. Go on and vote on all those kind of things and let me know. Give me your feedback on why or why not. All those kind of things as well. Of course, Monday Night Football tonight, I think it's a bad one. It's like the Raiders and the Cowboys, maybe something like that. So Monday Night Football tonight. Of course, it's a busy week for Illinois basketball. Iowa basketball's got 2 games. We've talked about the Iowa women already. We got that all covered for you right here on OTA throughout the week as well. Also, hoping to have Taylor Thiel on the show sometime this week. I'm going to reach out to him. We talked last night. New Galesburg head coach, obviously grandson of the great John Thiel. The gymnasium's named after him, one of the best coaches in Western Big Six history. So really a cool story. He played for the 98 team with Joy Range and Rod Thompson and those guys that took second in state. So we'll catch up with him. Jess Settles later in the week as well. Some of the same familiar characters that you see each week. So it'll be a lot of fun. We got a lot to get to throughout this week right here on OTA. Next week, we will not have a show on Thursday and Friday, Thanksgiving and Black Friday as well. Also, I want to remind people, go to the Hawkeye Radio Network YouTube page and check out the Hawkeye Tailgate Show. It was a lot of fun from this past week. Cooper Koch was on, but loved my conversation with John Campbell. 46 years at KCRG and doing it at an extremely, extremely high level. So it was fun to catch up and chat with him. So check that out as well. Iowa is a 2:30 kick against Michigan State for Senior Day at Kinnick Stadium. We'll do the Hawkeye Tailgate Show at 12:30 from Krause Family Plaza. I haven't even looked to see what the weather is going to be like this weekend as well. I know this week, that's the weird thing, because back in my old days, I always knew what was going on because, well, be honest, they put the weather on like 10 times a newscast. So I heard it over and over again and then some more. But where is it at? I was going to look and see. I know this week's going to kind of get chilly and more fall-like and all that kind of stuff. Last weekend was awesome. What a great chance to get out in your yard, get your stuff done, all of those things as well. So what's Saturday look like? 53? That's not bad. Partly cloudy. Rain a lot this week. Chances of. I got to be careful. The icons aren't always what they are. So anyways, enough weather. Stop by Krause Family Plaza. One more home game. Stop by, say hi, all those kind of things. I know a few people went to stop by the last game against Oregon. We moved it inside because of the weather. So one last chance. Stop by, say hi for the Hawkeye Tailgate Show as well. So thank you everyone for watching today's show. We appreciate it. We're just getting warmed up. We got a lot more to get to throughout the week right here on OTA. We'll see you tomorrow.